Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Ascension Diaries YouTube channel. My name is Alexis. Welcome to those of you who are new and to those of you who've been here since the very beginning. It's such a pleasure to again meet you on this beautiful August 28th at 7:18 p.m. I first off would like to ask you if you've meditated today. And I find that a lot of us just don't seem to get conscious of that and get that into our pattern. So I would like to invite you during this video to do conscious breathing, and I will, I encourage you to try and continue it throughout the whole video while you're watching me talk about all these things. And I'm going to try and make this part of the videos so we can at least say that yes, we did meditate today. And we were giving ourselves that sort of enough oxygen to our brain and our body. So I would encourage you to please 3, hold 2, 3, out 2, 3. If you can get it up to 5, count to 5, that's great. So breathe in 1, 2, 3, hold 1, 2, 3, and breathe out 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to get into the card reading for the day, and let me know if that was helpful for you while you're breathing. So the card that we got for this beautiful day is the Queen of Earth. The Queen of Earth in this deck is speaking more about making time for those around you, taking a sensible approach, and dealing with any sort of thing with a kind and understanding manner. The Queen of Earth can also be the Queen of Pentacles. This is the woman who is steady working towards having a job and having a family, and she's able to just continually steadily work through and push through the day with a grounded sort of energy. So that was the reading that we received from the universe today. And I wanted to do a video yesterday because we did get a lot of cosmic weather continuing on after the last video that I did on the 25th, or I guess the 26th, where all of that radiation was coming in, all of the geomagnetic activity, the storm that was happening, and all of the aurora and everything that came through this hole that busted open basically in our geomagnetic field, and all of this light was pouring in, and the magnetics were just giving us quite the light show. So for those of you who were able to see that, I'm really glad. That's a beautiful part of this whole thing in a way, is that when we're having these sort of big energetic storms, we get the beautiful aurora, which is very interesting to me. So just to show you, let's move into what was showing up yesterday and today, and I will get into the times and everything for all of you to review and just talk about what it's been like the last couple days. So this is the card, of course, that we picked for today, and I want to show you how the magnetosphere of the planet has been getting a lot less craziness. You were noticing that before there was just like balls of knotted magnetic sort of lines around our planet. They're still sort of balling up, but it's a lot more cohesive. This makes a lot more sense to me. And so and it shows up in all the graphs. Everything has calmed down. Today was a calmer day. Today would have been the day where the field sort of repaired itself. And it could have been a bit of a jarring experience for you, because when the field was disrupted, a lot of people were able to just kind of be with themselves and be in their own field. But now that the grid of magnetic field over top of us and that we are living under has sort of come back together, what that entails and what that connects us to energetically may have thrown you off a little bit. You may have been quite tired today. So I want to show you the Schumann Resonance has been nothing too anomalous on the HeartMath graph. We're seeing very normal. There was quite a peak yesterday in South Africa that was unusual, and as well as the day before was Lithuania was peaking. So those two locations have had an increase over the last couple days. But with the Russian site, there was a blast yesterday at 6 p.m. and it hit about a 55. And previous to that, in the morning, around 10 in the morning, 8, 10 in the morning, Mountain Time, of course, there was more activity coming in. So yesterday we still had quite a bit of Schumann Resonance activity, which is why I wanted to do a show, but I was unable to. And today at 6 p.m., around 5, 6 p.m., there was another, 4 about 4 o'clock, there was another blast, but it wasn't nearly as potent. So this is also calming down. So I'm noticing a calming on all of the energetic areas that we look into. This storm seems to have subsided, except for one graph, which is coming. You may have guessed it. It's our weird, funky favorite. It starts with an E. But yeah, this is what it sort of looked like. This was just like a ball of energy that came in, like I was mentioning, around 9-10 in the morning yesterday on the 27th. And then into today, we had our own little, and then of course we had that blast that was actually like 55 over here. And following up the energy, you can see how all those blips were causing, you know, there was some serious activity going on. And then today we had another blast. So, but it's tapering off. And looking into the space, whether you can see that the sun doesn't have anything too obviously disruptive going on top of it. The X-rays have tightened up very much so. The solar wind was up and has been up above for the average, which is 400 kilometers per second. It's been hanging out in around 550 to 600 range, and it's hanging out in the 550 range. So we're getting a lot of solar wind right now, about 150 over average. The magnetics have been flopping all over the place, but all of the other lines are sort of tightening up and evening out. You're seeing it here. So we're just getting solar wind at us, which again, I find when there's no other real distractions can cause my spine to be sore. And so I would encourage you to move around, stretch it out. And the magnetics have evened out and the geomagnetic field disruption you're seeing here. So this is what we were looking at the last video. This is what was happening yesterday. These two red lines were occurring, but over this last day, over the 28th, it's been coming right back down. It actually went down to almost nothing, which is crazy to me, and that also can cause disturbances. We want to be in the green zone for the most part. At least that's what I've researched. We don't know. Sometimes I wonder if these things are true, because I've been to school and I've seen a lot of things I've been taught be disproved as well. So, but it looks like things are calming down, at least on this graph. But the electron flux is in an area of radiation storm level. It is well above the dotted line, and it is just soaring. So we're getting a heightened level of electrons coming in. You know, the solar wind is coming in. I'm not totally surprised about this. All of the satellites here these are other graphs I don't tend to show, but they are also, struggling a little bit. So there is an influx of energy still coming in, but it doesn't seem to be as magnetic. It's more particles, just charged particles coming towards us, the solar wind. So just another representation of the sun. You can see here what we're looking at for the day and how much light is coming off of it. All of these anomalies, nothing too grand. So everything seems to be calming down. Everything seems to be going normal. And to my, I guess I would say non-surprise, there was some activity today in the rumblings of the planets. So we've had earthquakes literally all over the place. Like, we've got earthquakes scattered across the planet, and we've had 3 in a row in this particular spot on the planet that were really large. They were in the 6.6, there's 6.6, 6.6, 6.4, 6.6, and they were all about 50 kilometers below the surface, and they were all in this area of the, and I can barely read this, but it says Marinara Islands, perhaps. Oh, let's zoom in and take another look. Is it over here? Yes. So there's, in this particular area of the planet, there is exceedingly large and pretty deep rumbling in the planet. So very interesting response. Otherwise, I haven't seen too many things going off, but of course I'm not watching everything. I'm trying to. I don't watch all of the volcanoes, but I could. And the lightning has been normal, and the collective consciousness has been sort of more of a variant today. So when we had when we had a lot of the geomagnetic disturbances, that allowed for us to sort of have our own reflection and be kind of in our own field. But now it's coming out of that sort of coherence, and we've had much more variance. So we had red on the graph in the day and blue on the graph in the day. A lot of green still, but it's a lot more chaotic than it was when all that geomagnetic activity was happening. And yesterday, the planet Mars went into a motion of direct, which in astrology basically means that it is now acting and it is now forward moving instead of sort of reserving its energy for us. It's actually allowing us to use it to go forward. Mars is a very sort of forward moving, aggressive energy. It's warlike in a way. The Mars is sort of the warlike planet, but it's just a lot of like visceral energy, and it can be used for great good and great creation. So it's turning direct in the sign of Capricorn as well. And so it's great to talk about tactics, and you're gaining ground, and you are planning and starting your plan and moving forward, and you're committed to a goal, and you're getting more forward movement in this plan. So, which is great, because I know there's a lot of planning going on out there, especially after this wonderful summer season of meeting and greeting and making moves and plans, and I'm definitely been a part of that. So I'm really happy to see that this energy is moving forward. And then when Mars in September 11th re-enters Aquarius, it's going to be, it says it favors a surprise attack or an advancing by innovation. You may have to experiment or act quickly and unexpectedly. And then on the 10th of October, Mars moves even more forward through into Aquarius, and it says that you will be going over old ground, but at this point you should expect to prevail on some level. Recognize this outline applies to anything and everything you may want to accomplish. So it's really good news for people with plan and going forward and using Mars energy. People may have noticed that they had been a little bit irritated and aggressive the last few days since it's gone direct, because again, that's a very Martian sort of deal. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're a little extra triggered. May be due to Mars, may not, but the pattern seems to be there. And I wanted to finish off today's show. It's a short show, but I hope you're still breathing. I know it's hard to do, but I was watching today about time travel and time machines on the program on gaia.com. And the program is called Cosmic Disclosure, and it's about time travel and shifting realities, actually, of recounting and a sort of a testimony of someone who worked in programs that are being these are private companies that are having their own research bases and everything, and they are working on things like having these sort of portals that people walk through, and they can go through areas of time and go to different areas and realities and things like that, and how people are actually working with this and experiencing this, and scientists are really doing this. And I got to learn all about this today, and I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about this particular website, but if I had to give my 2 cents about it, just from my genuine feelings on it, it would be, I'm really grateful for this site and everything that I have learned from it. I feel like I've gotten a whole other degree based off of the information I've learned in wisdom teachings, and Cosmic Disclosure has opened up my mind to so many cosmic things and science and everything. It just seems to resonate a lot with me, and is continued to spark my soul into doing more research and asking more questions and doing what I'm doing right now. So no matter how, and there's a lot of things in corruption that happen in these sort of companies that get really big and gain a lot of footing, and I feel like they're getting their butt handed to them in a way with karma and all the mistreatings and misdealings that they did, which is a very big part of this industry, and it's sort of how things kind of work. Especially with the community that they've garnered, a very highly spiritual, highly ethical people. So I don't think it's unethical to keep looking at this content, but it's definitely smart to put my energy in a space where I encourage the ethical treatment of people in everything. And so this is what I was learning about today and watching today. And then I came up upon this article revealing to the public that scientists basically, they've come up with a mathematical model for a viable time machine. And it says mathematically it is possible. It's so very simple. You could read the whole article, but just to have this put out into the collective consciousness in such a way, especially just to trigger me. And I looked this up and totally came upon this by accident and related to what I watched earlier in the day. So I thought it would be interesting to add to the show just as a little bit of a extra entertainment. And this, how they sort of just fold time in on itself, and there's natural portals and things, and it's such an ancient art and such an ancient science and math, and how sort of the quantum entanglement works. It's just so interesting, and I hope to hear and see more about it. It's obviously a thing that's going on, and that there's humans who are out there talking about being a part of this and taking part in this scientifically. So the more our disclosure of these advancements to the public, because it could be very healing and wonderful and freeing for a lot of people. And that's what I strive to achieve with my own intentions, is to release and disclose this information for all who wish to be a part of it. And that is the finale of the show today. I hope you all had a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday. I am very glad to be here, of course. And if you haven't seen it already, I uploaded a podcast today with my dear friend Matthew Mornian. He spoke about an array of things. We talked about dimensions of disclosure. We talked about the collective consciousness shifting, that of his own observations. He's a very mystical, wonderful healer that deals with your energetic body entity attachments. He does tarot reading. He does an array of things, and he spoke even about hybrids and sort of the ET element of this whole thing too. So I think you'd really enjoy it. I filmed another interview today, which was really, really intense, and I'm kind of reeling from it, to be honest with you. And it's going to take a little bit of editing and some magic, but the guests that I'm bringing on are getting more and more, I wouldn't say intense, but I would say the information coming to me to be sort of disseminated and released is really weighing on me, and I'm really understanding how this role of being an interviewer and sharing this information on a public platform is a very intense responsibility. And I always want it to be authentic. I always want it to be genuine. I always want it to be true and real and out there. And I want to be objective to it as well, and continue being that sort of objective observer to what other people are experiencing, because everyone's experience is unique. So I really appreciate your feedback on that interview and the interviews I've done so far. And if there's anyone you who wants to be on the show, you can reach out to me, you can email me, and we're just going to keep rolling. The channel has increased about 300 subscribers in the last couple weeks because of the collaborations I've been doing. So I'm open to be and collaborate with any of you who are watching this right now and have your own channel and would like to connect our audiences. I would be open to that. But in general, I'm just doing well today. Again, I'm feeling very steady, sturdy, happy. I'm peaceful. I'm sort of feeling weirdly bored in a way. It's kind of like things are so peaceful that I'm kind of like, I want to have some fun. And I don't even know what I would engage with to have fun with. That's my own little test I'm going through right now, being like, well, what do I even want to do for fun? Like what's out there that I could do to entertain myself and entertain my inner child? So I'm still sort of looking into that and seeing what I can do. So if you have any suggestions on that, I'd love to hear about it too. But I've rambled long enough. I hope you've enjoyed your breathing exercise in this video for today. And I love you all very much, and I will be seeing you again very soon. Goodbye, everyone.